Previously on Unscripted.
So I sent him an email. I said, hey, I just got a letter in the mail. They're asking me to go for jury duty on this date and this time. He writes back, I got the same letter. I'll see you there.
That's absolutely crazy.
You're listening to Unscripted with Skip Sherman and Josh Obadia.
Okay, Skip. So today we're going to talk about our favorite movies from 1984. But before we get to that, I'm sure you and the listeners remember that on our first episode of this year, I had promised that I would have something that's bugging me every episode. And about 10 seconds after I promised that, I said that it might be challenging to get 26 of those. Well, interestingly enough, several things have happened since we last recorded. And now I think I'm going to easily have 26 things that are bugging me this year.
I told you on that episode that you were not going to have any trouble.
You did say that. You were right.
There's always something. There's always something out there that's, that's going to hit you the wrong way or,
It's going to vex me.
Exactly. Very good word.
So I'm not going to tell you all of them today because I need to save some for future episodes. But I will tell you about what happened when I went for jury selection because I talked about that last episode and I want to just give the conclusion of the story to everyone.
The jury selection saga continues. Let's hear it.
So I went, and I think I had mentioned to you that one of my colleagues also got the same letter as me.
Were you there at the same time as him? Did you see each other?
I mean, he arrived a few minutes later than I did, but we were in the same courtroom.
Mm-hmm.
Interestingly enough, so this is the second time I've had to do this, and first, you have to go to this huge room. It's called the jury lounge. And they basically just make you sit there and wait until they tell you which courtroom to go to because there's multiple courtrooms in the building. But for me and my colleague, as soon as I walked into that room and showed them the letter, I could see the two employees looking at each other and they said, oh, this is one of the special ones. He has to go to this room. So I don't know what that means, but whatever. So I go to the special room, and I'm putting this in air quotes. So I get there, and we're supposed to be there 8:30, and I was there early, and then people are trickling in. Some people are late, of course. There's about 150 people in this courtroom, I'm guessing. I didn't count them all. And you have to go and check in with the staff person at the front so they cross your name off so that you're here. And I know for a fact there was at least one or two people who just didn't show up. So I don't know what happens to them. Do they get fined, arrested? I have no idea.
They're in big trouble.
So anyway, we're just sitting there waiting. There's a lot of waiting. And I think maybe around 9 o'clock, finally, one of the employees, one of the staff makes an announcement. But what I found interesting is that the announcement was in French. Now, I speak French, so it's fine. But I'm wondering, there's like 150 people in here. How many of them actually speak French?
Did they know that you speak French? Is that why you were in this specific room?
I don't know what they knew. I don't know what they knew about me. Like, all they knew is my name and, like, you get a number associated with your name. That's all they knew. This
is crazy. This is wild. Okay.
Anyhow, so they make some announcement, whatever. This is all going to get started at 10 a.m. You'll hear the details of the case, and you'll be given instructions and whatever. So we sit around for like at least an hour. And finally, the judge comes in. Actually, before the judge comes in, you see the defendant with his lawyer comes in.
Yeah, okay.
And then the judge comes in like later, much later, actually. So then the judge starts speaking. And the judge is speaking only in French.
What?
And again, I understood everything. But I don't know how many people did. So then it sort of clicked on me because when they asked me to fill out a form, because everyone has to fill out a form before they could even go to jury selection, on the form it asks if you speak French, and I said yes. Maybe I should have said no, but I said yes. So I guess all of these people in this room all said yes when they were asked that question.
Right, because the defendant has the right to have his trial in one of the two official languages of the country.
Correct.
Right.
It's interesting. So no one's really saying anything because the judge is talking for quite a long time and going through all the instructions and telling us, by the way, the accused is accused of having sexual relations with someone under the age of 18. And by the way, that person who he had sexual relations with is also related to him in some way. Like they have the same last name.
Are you allowed to talk about this?
I don't know.
This is a great. Okay. Okay.
So she's talking and talking and talking and talking. And then finally, someone like raises their hand, an older person, like older than me. And then they bring her up to the front because you can't hear people talk from the back. And she speaks into the microphone so everyone can hear. And she says, I haven't heard a thing that you've said. I have difficulty hearing. I'm wearing my hearing aid and I still haven't understood or heard a thing that you've said. And then so the judge confers with someone and then they just dismiss that person. I don't know how that person got dismissed so easily, but she got dismissed.
That's like a pre-made excuse to get out of jury duty.
So we're down to 149 people.
Okay.
Anyhow, then here's the next thing that happens. They have like, I don't know if you've ever gone to bingo where they have this thing that you crank the wheel and then you put your hand inside and you pick a thing and it's like B12 or whatever.
Yeah.
So they have a thing like this. And inside this thing, there's a bunch of like little business cards. Like they're smaller than business cards. And each of these cards has a number on it. And each number corresponds to someone's number in this room, one of the 150 people. So they start turning the thing and they pick a number and they call the number. And if it's your number, you have to go up to the front. So the last time I did this, basically, they did the similar thing, but when you were called to the front, the judge would right away ask you some questions like, do you know the defendant? Do you know the whatever? Like, do you know any of these lawyers? Is there any reason why you can't sit on this jury? Like right on the spot, they would ask you these questions in front of everybody. But this time, they didn't ask any questions. They just called another number until they got to 25 people.
Okay.
So they got to 25 people, and then they take those 25 people out of the room somewhere else. I don't know where they go. And then they do it again to get another 25 people. And then a third time and a fourth time. So they basically do it 4 times. So now they have 100 people. They have 4 groups of 25.
Do they really have to spin that wheel? Can't they just say jurors number 1 to 25 or group 1 and 26?
They want it to be random.
I mean, okay.
So I was in the 4th group. I was like, I think the 19th person in the 4th group.
Okay.
Meaning there's about 25 people left who didn't get called, and I don't know what happens to them. I think they get to go home.
Oh my.
So then at this point, it's like 11:30. Something like that. Maybe I don't know what time it is. It's after 12. Sorry, I misspoke. They tell us, okay, go have lunch. You can have lunch in the cafeteria downstairs, or you can leave the building and have lunch, whatever. Just be back at 2.
Oh my God. So basically all you did was come so that they could pick a number out of a bingo thing and then they send you to lunch.
Right. So we all come back at 2. Now, there's more sitting around and waiting. What's happening while we're sitting in this courtroom is like group A, they divided A, B, C, D. Group A, the first 25 people, they're all being vetted. You know, the 2 lawyers for both sides have a chance to say, yes, no, I don't want this person or whatever. Mm-hmm. And they have to get a total of 12 jurors plus 2 backups, alternates. Thank you. So anyway, they don't get enough from group A. I know this because they come and they call group B to go. So now I'm sitting in this room with group C and D, and group B is being vetted. And they still don't get enough because they come and they call half of group C.
So weird.
So now there's all of group D and half of group C is still in this room, and they're doing whatever they're doing. Now, the interesting part is my friend was in group B or C, I don't remember. So he's in that other room that I'm not, but I'm texting back and forth with him to know what's going on.
You're allowed to do that?
I don't know if you're allowed, but I was, and he was.
Uh-huh.
And then at one point he tells me that he was selected and he's juror number 11. So I know they only need 1 more plus 2 alternates.
Right.
Anyhow, a few minutes later, they come back and they tell all of us that we can go home. So I guess they had found their 12 jurors and their 2 alternates.
So it's really random. They need 150 people to be able to get 14 people.
Correct. And
wild.
I know for a fact, because I was talking to some of the other people in the room, some of them don't understand a word of French, by the way. And
Well, they could that they probably would have disqualified them right away when they would have went there.
they would have, yes. I wasn't in the room when that happened, but like I could have said I don't understand French. How do they prove that I do understand French?
Yeah. Or you could say that you wrote on the form that you understood French, but then when the judge was speaking, it's much too fast for you, or, like you wouldn't be able to really follow.
I wouldn't have said that because I did understand pretty much everything the judge had said. So now I just have to follow up with my friend because they've already started the trial. This I went on Tuesday. They've already started the trial, and I haven't texted him lately, so I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's still going to continue next week or what.
I mean, he's, from everything I know about the legal system, which all comes from television and movies, he's not allowed to talk about the case, right?
I don't think so. But what else they said is interesting. After they've gone through all the evidence, once it's at the point where the jury needs to decide, the jury gets sequestered until they've made a decision. And so, like, if it takes days, then they literally put you in a hotel for days.
Yeah.
And you're not allowed to have any contact with any friends or family or anyone. Like, you're not allowed to go on the internet. You're not allowed to watch TV.
It's like being on Big Brother.
If that happened to me, I would be like, what do you mean?
I know, seriously. Guilty, let's get it over with.
Exactly.
I wonder how often that happens. People are like, let's just go ahead and be guilty so we can all go home. Poor guy.
Now, one thing I'll mention about the courthouse, it's a very old building. And there's a lot of signage that you would think it's still like COVID time because they're telling you wear a mask, sanitize your hands, whatever. They have all over the building, those hand sanitizer dispensers.
Yeah.
They're all over the place. I'm sure you've seen them all over the place.
Yeah, but that's in a lot of places.
No, that's fine. They have tons of them. Every single one of them is empty. Like, what is the point? Just throw them away or fill them up.
Okay, so that's the what bugs me part of this whole story.
No,
right
I mean,
there.
it does bug me, but the whole thing bugs me. It was just quite comical. Anyway, that was a long story. Do we have any listener mail?
Mailbag.
We do have listener mail. Stephanie from Montreal about the Springsteen movie Deliver Me From Nowhere. She said, I enjoyed it. It had a couple of impressive moments. Jeremy did a strong, stellar performance. I never knew about this part of Bruce's life. I think that sums up a lot of people's feelings about the movie.
Absolutely.
I think in general. Mark from Philadelphia. I love Josh's futuristic proposal for a cashless society.
I mean, I've been thinking about this for 25 or 30 years.
Exactly. He says, but I also remember his troubles with getting his subway fare paid cashless, right?
This
So
is
obviously
true.
there's some kinks to work out, right? I mentioned to Mark when he wrote this, I said, by the way, like his idea for a cashless society, I think you told me that in 1997.
When we were roommates, maybe.
Right? Like it's like in the 90s that you were way ahead of your time, visionary of the cashless society.
Thank you.
More from Mark regarding changing of the clocks. Different people have different views. Most want to keep it one way or another. The issue is that some want to keep it as standard time and others want to keep it as daylight savings, meaning some people want more light in the morning, some people want more light in the night, right?
I have something to add about the clocks, by the way.
Yeah, go ahead. Mark was just saying that like it's sometimes like a huge state if you're on like the west or the east of a big state, like the amount of darkness could change drastically,
So I don't know if you're aware, but in Europe, they switched to
I'm aware.
daylight savings time like today or in the middle of the night, like a few hours ago.
Yeah.
And this has caused me a lot of problems at work this past 48 hours.
I used to deal with this every year. As you know, like I had people when I worked my previous employment, I worked with many people in Europe, and there would always be 2 weeks of the year where instead of being 5 hours, 6 hours different in France, they were suddenly 5, right? Like, and it's like, how do you know this, right? It's like,
and I use a website to tell me like what time is it in Switzerland or what time is it
Me too.
anywhere, and that website even using that website, I'm still not sure what time it is right now in Switzerland. And I needed to know that information 2 days ago.
Our final listener mail is from Anita from Pennsylvania. She wrote, I'm a giant movie nerd, especially sci-fi and horror. I steadfastly maintain that 1984 was the best year for film. The Karate Kid, Gremlins, Repo Man, etc. Feel free to steal that theme. So, Anita, that's exactly what we did. So that's the, if you're wondering why randomly we're doing favorite films of 1984, it was a suggestion from a listener.
Exactly. We'll be right back after this to talk about our favorite movies from 1984.
You're listening to Unscripted.
I'm Joseph DeMedictis.
And I'm Ross Citrulo.
And we're doing this podcast so we don't have to go home and get a real job.
Exactly.
That's right. And we're doing it to tell you about our pursuit of the dreams we've had since being a kid, being young, trying to get into the entertainment industry. Us, we're mid-career, sort of. We're kind of halfway broken in a way. But we both have these big dreams and big goals.
Aspirations, really.
For our careers.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. This podcast is about the journey through the industry, trying to make it, but trying not to have to give up.
So listen to our podcasts on all the places you might listen to a podcast. Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We have our own YouTube channel where you can watch the video version. All the links can be found at you'llnevermakeit.ca. Here's hoping we do.
And now, back to Unscripted.
Okay, Skip, we're back.
All right, so today we're going to do our favorite movies from 1984. I don't know if I didn't have any trouble creating this list. Like I looked up all the movies. It's accessible to see like a huge list of the favorite movies from that year. And I had no problem getting 5. It's the problem is ranking them. Like, so we were 13 or 14, right? In that year, in 84, right? Like,
Okay,
right?
You say so.
What do you mean if I say so? It's math.
I mean, I don't remember, but yes, sure, I was, yeah.
So is it the movies that you like then? Is that how you rank them? Is it movies that you still like now? Is that how you rank them? Is it like a combination of both? So that's the, where we won't align, or maybe where we will, or the difficulty in ranking. But I mean, in general, like it was fairly easy to do my list.
I mean, for me, it was the movies I liked then because I haven't seen these movies in a million years.
Right. Okay.
So who knows if I still like them now, but I probably would still like them now.
Do you think we're going to have any the same?
I think we should have at least one the same. I mean, I don't know which one, but the chances of us having none the same, I think, is slim.
Me too. I agree. I think one is like a slam dunk. Like there's one I think that's a slam dunk that we're gonna have the same. And I would think maybe even 2, possibly 3. Like I think these lists could be well aligned because like you mentioned to me that the movies that Anita mentioned in her message to us, so like the Karate Kid, Gremlins, and Repo Man, like you said, I never saw any of those movies. And I was like, you never saw the Karate Kid? Like I was surprised about that. But I mean, I guess it's possible.
I mean, you know me. I never saw any of those blockbuster movies like Indiana Jones, never saw them. Star Wars, never saw them. Rocky, never saw them. You know what I'm saying?
So like she mentioned Gremlins, like maybe I saw it when I was 14, but like I have no recollection. And Repo Man, I think it's like one of those movies that like also like I saw at that time. It's like you rent it at the video store, and I'm sure I watched it, but like I have no recollection of it either, to be honest.
I did some research, obviously, because I know which movies I liked from the 80s, but I don't remember if they were 84 or 85 or 86. Like I had to do some research. And I found this one article, actually. I mean, there's a million lists out there. I found this one article. I don't know if it's a guy or a girl who wrote the story, but they were saying that in 1984, only 181 movies were released, apparently. Compare that to 2009, where 600 movies were released.
Really?
So I don't know how accurate those numbers are, but that's what this story said. Now, I found one list, and it was interesting because this person's list, their top 3 movies are my top 3 movies in the right order.
I love it. Okay.
So obviously I agree with this person.
Okay, good. So we're gonna start in a sec. I just wanted to go over. I looked up the Academy Award winning movies and actors and actresses from 1985 because that's when they're honoring the movies from the previous year, right?
Correct.
So the best actor was F. Murray Abraham from Amadeus. I don't think Amadeus is going to be in your.
It's not in my list. Spoiler
Best
alert.
actress was Sally Field from Places in the Heart. I think this is when she gets up on stage and she's like, "You love me, you really like me."
I remember that speech.
Right? I think that's the one. And then the best song was "I Just Called to Say I Love You" by Stevie Wonder, which was in a movie called The Woman in Red. And the best picture was Amadeus. So like I don't have any of these, no mention of any of these in my list. Zero. So
Me neither.
Number 5.
I'll start with my number 5, which is Ghostbusters. Starring Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Rick Moranis, Sigourney Weaver, directed by Ivan Reitman. Everybody knows Ghostbusters, washed up scientists who start a ghost catching business to save New York from certain doom, basically. There are some classic lines. Like I haven't watched Ghostbusters in years, but like I wonder if I would still find it funny because like the whole like did you watch Ghostbusters? Are you gonna even know what I'm talking about?
Of course I've seen Ghostbusters.
Okay. I am the key master. You are the gatekeeper. Like this is like
that, yes.
I love that so much. And the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, it's very iconic, obviously. And then like also like a line that's like still like used today in many ways, like came from the movie, which is "Don't cross the streams," right?
Right.
Like this is part of like the modern language now, right? So it was the top grossing film of the summer of 1984, earning $229 million, making it the second highest grossing movie of 1984, approximately $5 million behind Eddie Murphy's action comedy Beverly Hills Cop, which was released later that year. Ghostbusters surpassed Animal House as the highest grossing comedy ever at that time, of course, until Beverly Hills Cop surpassed it a little bit later in the year. So that's my number 5, Ghostbusters.
Okay, a lot of stats there.
Yeah.
So number 5 for me is 16 Candles. So this is obviously one of those John Hughes films. There's many of them. And of course,
we did a whole episode on our favorite John Hughes movies, didn't we? Like
I believe
back?
we did, yes.
Yeah.
And of course, it stars Molly Ringwald and Anthony Michael Hall.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. I found out just yesterday, Anthony Michael Hall and Molly Ringwald, they did not like each other when they first met. So John Hughes took them to a record store and they actually bonded when they found out they liked the same music.
I love that. Okay, good.
One of the groups that they liked was called the Rave Ups, who I haven't heard of.
Never heard of them.
But that's my number 5 movie.
Beautiful. 16 Candles, I think it's probably the worst of all the John Hughes movies. It's actually, well, I mean, I think a lot of people like it because it's really like more of a screwball type of comedy than I think some of the others that had Breakfast Club and Pretty in Pink, which are a little more serious at times,
Right. I would agree with you that of those 3 you just mentioned, 16 Candles would be my least favorite.
Yeah.
And if we were doing favorite movies of 1985, then I think I could have included The Breakfast Club.
For sure.
Number 4.
All right. Number 4 for me, guaranteed you never saw it, The Terminator, directed by James
Why would
Cameron.
you say, of course I've seen it. Why would you say I haven't seen it?
You just made a point of telling the whole world that you never liked the blockbusters like Star Wars and Indiana Jones. Like Terminator is the same thing, right? It's this huge franchise that's had like a million sequels and still going today.
I've seen it. I think I don't know if I've seen all of the Terminators, but I've seen many of the Terminator movies.
So this is specifically Terminator 1.
Right.
I actually like Terminator 2 better. I think it's a better movie. I think it has a bigger budget, and Arnold is like the good guy in Terminator 2 instead of being the more really the killer assassin robot in Terminator 1. I mean, it was huge. It was huge at the time, and it still kind of holds up today. And the plot is like really could bend your mind. Like it's really like one of these time travel things that if you try to explain it, it like will make your head hurt. The Terminator robot is sent from the future to make sure John Connor, the leader of the Resistance, is never born by killing his mom, Linda Hamilton, who ends up having sex with Connor's dad, who was also sent from the future to protect her. and she only fell in love with him because he saved her life. So that begs the question, like, why did they even send him? Like, so John Connor, the one who was never supposed to be born, was only conceived and born because they sent the Terminator to kill her, or they sent the guy to save her. Who knows? These are questions that, we try to figure out, but really like make our brain hurt. And of course, the Terminator 1 has the most iconic Schwarzenegger line ever, which is "I'll be back."
Yes, of course. The next movie on my list is The Natural.
Ooh.
So this might have been the first baseball movie I ever saw. I mean, since then, there have been a lot of baseball movies.
Yeah.
And this is certainly not the best baseball movie, but it might have been the first baseball movie. So for me, this was quite a big deal because, of course, you know how much I love baseball, or at least used to.
Yeah.
And it has a pretty good cast if you listen to this cast. Robert Redford, Robert Duvall, Glenn Close, Kim Basinger, Wilford Brimley, Barbara Hershey. At the time when I was a kid, I didn't know any of these people.
Yeah.
So it didn't matter to me. One little tidbit that I found out about the movie. So the bat that the Bat Boy Bobby Savoy gives to Roy Hobbs. Mm-hmm. They call it the Savoy Special. Savoy Special was a brand of beer in the 1930s. I didn't know that.
Okay.
And the bat's now in the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, and it's displayed along with Roy Hobbs' jacket in an exhibit called Baseball and the Movies.
I love that. He only gives him the Savoy Special because his other bat, the Wonder Boy, breaks on a foul ball.
Correct.
Heartbreaking. Yeah.
The other interesting thing is, so the scene where he hits the home run and they win the game and then they run off the field?
Yeah.
Like it was a walk-off. I didn't realize this at the time, but they were the visiting team, so they should not have walked off because the home team should get to bat in the bottom of the inning. However, apparently back in those days, the home team could decide if they wanted to bat first or second before the game started. So it's possible that the home team had already batted.
It's like deferring the kickoff in the NFL.
Exactly.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's a good little trivia.
Number 3.
All right. Number 3 for me was mentioned in Anita's email, in Anita's message that started this theme, which is The Karate Kid. Now, you told me you never really saw it, but you maybe have seen parts of it, and who knows. But so it stars Ralph Macchio, Elizabeth Shue, and William Zabka. The classic underdog story about a totally unrealistic karate tournament where this tiny little kid wins against another teenager who's much better than him by doing this crazy flamingo kick at the end of the tournament on one leg because his other leg is half broken. Like, it's really like the most unrealistic thing, but like obviously everybody cheers for it and loves it, and but what I wanted to bring up is, like, of course, like, it spawned like many sequels, and also like the show Cobra Kai, which has like 5 seasons or maybe more on Netflix. But I know you are a fan of the show How I Met Your Mother.
Yes.
So the whole Cobra Kai show was basically spawned kind of out of something that happened in How I Met Your Mother. I think it did. Like, like Barney's bachelor party where he does all kinds of crazy stuff, and at the end there's this clown that's with him the whole time.
I vaguely remember this.
So in the show, the clown takes off his makeup, and it's William Zabka, the guy who plays Johnny in the Karate Kid, the villain, and Barney says, like, to Robin, like, you finally understand me. Like, Johnny's the hero of the Karate Kid. He's not the villain. He's misunderstood. It's Daniel LaRusso who's the villain and the bully. Johnny is not the villain and the bully. And that's basically the whole premise of Cobra Kai's show, like how it's got spawned. Started from that, it became a YouTube, a little mini YouTube series, and then they made it into this huge Netflix thing. So I just always think that's funny. And of course, like Karate Kid, I mean, at 14 years old, I fell in love with Elizabeth Shue.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay, next on my list is The Terminator.
Oh, look at that.
So you mentioned Arnold Schwarzenegger. So this was a James Cameron movie.
Yeah.
Linda Hamilton's also in this movie, of course.
Yeah.
And you said everything that I was going to say about the Terminator. It's a little bit like Back to the Future, which came out not that year, but around the same time, also in the 80s.
Yeah.
Now, you may recall that we did an episode, I don't know how many years ago, our favorite movie quotes. And my favorite movie quote on that episode is from this movie.
Really?
And you won't remember this because when I
don't.
said the quote at the time, you didn't even remember this line.
And now I still don't remember it, even though you've told it to me.
So here's the quote. So Kyle Reese says this to Sarah Connor, talking about the Terminator, because of course she's confused and doesn't know what's going on. He says, "It can't be bargained with. It can't be reasoned with. It doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear, and it absolutely will not stop ever until you are dead."
It's a great quote.
Now, I've used that quote at work to describe one of my colleagues.
To their face or behind their back?
No, behind their back.
Okay, classic.
The other amazing line from that movie that you didn't mention earlier is Sarah Connor says at the end, "You're terminated."
That's right. Very good.
Number 2.
All right. Number 2 for me, Beverly Hills Cop, Eddie Murphy. There's also like a lot of great other performances. Paul Reiser, Judge Reinhold, Bronson Pinchot. But this is like, I think, prime Eddie Murphy. And Beverly Hills Cop 2 is actually really good as well. They're both like, I don't know if I like one better than the other. They're both really good. They did a great job of the sequel. But just in terms of Beverly Hills Cop 1, I mean, to me, it's like one of the greatest comedies ever, especially like police kind of comedies. The soundtrack is amazing. There's The Heat Is On by Glenn Frey, Neutron Dance, Pointer Sisters. And then so many, when you watch the movie, it makes you wonder, did he ad-lib most of the stuff? Did they just tell him, okay, you're going to go check into a hotel now, go, and then he makes up the dialogue, or you're going to go do this now, go. Eddie Murphy, he's so talented. So half the stuff, I wonder if he made it up, the lines. And then, of course, the scene in the art gallery when he meets Bronson Pinchot's character, Serge,
Yeah.
and he says, "What's your name?" Axel. Ahmed. It's just so it's so good, right? And he's like, "Can I bring you an espresso with a lemon twist?" It's so funny. Honestly, it's so funny. And then I already mentioned that it was it grossed $230-something million in the U.S. and Canada. And then a worldwide over $300 million. It was the highest grossing movie of 1984.
No surprise.
Yeah, no surprise.
Okay, next for me is Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh, perfect.
So you mentioned Judge Reinhold, and I don't know if you mentioned his name, but John Ashton's also in the movie.
Yeah.
So that's Detective Billy Rosewood and Sergeant Taggart. Those characters are amazing.
Yeah.
Of course, Eddie Murphy's amazing. Another song that's in the movie that you didn't mention, the instrumental Axel F by Harold Faltermeyer.
It's true. It was the theme of the movie, and it was a hit. It was on the top 40,
I love that song. I love it.
Yeah.
And lots of great scenes in the movie. I don't need to tell you, but of course, one of the funniest parts that you didn't mention is when Eddie Murphy puts the banana in the tailpipe.
Oh, yeah.
My dad loves that part. He loves it.
That's so funny.
And then that about a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, there was a new Beverly Hills Cop that came out only on Netflix.
Yeah, I watched it. Did you watch it?
I watched it, and it wasn't bad.
It was okay. It was really good because it was all the nostalgia, right? It was all about Rosewood and Taggart and him. It was funny. It was funny.
It wasn't bad.
Number 1.
All right, number 1 for me, you already mentioned it, The Natural, directed by Barry Levinson. One of my favorite baseball movies. Like I said, maybe not my favorite, but one of my favorite baseball movies, despite the fact that we're supposed to believe that Robert Redford is an actual baseball player, even though he's I looked up his actual age in 1984. He was 48 years old. Right?
And he comes out of nowhere in the movie. It's not like he comes up from the minors. He comes out of nowhere.
Right. There's lots of great performances, like you mentioned, Bassinger, Glenn Close, Wilford Brimley. Robert Duvall is like Max, he's the journalist that follows the team, the sports writer.
Mm-hmm.
The thing I love about this movie, and the most underrated part of the movie, is the musical score. Like the actual music that plays in the movie. Like you mentioned, like when he hits the walk-off home run that hits the light stands and then the sparks start flying everywhere. The music is playing. It's like so epic. It's like the theme song of The Natural, right? It's really, really great. The unrealistic parts, like obviously I mentioned, like he's a 48-year-old ball player who's somehow like could hit home runs whenever he wants. When Glenn Close stands up in the crowd in Chicago, like to break his slump, and he looks at her, and she's just standing there with the sunlight shining on her, and I'm like, oh, come on, like it's a bit ridiculous, but the thing that always, because like part of the reason why I love baseball, and I think you too as well, is the stats. Like baseball is a stat sport. So I would love to know, and I should look this up because I guarantee you there's some nerd that's done this research already. Like in the movie, he goes through these huge hot streaks where he's basically hitting home runs almost every single time he comes to the plate, and then has these huge slumps where he's just striking out every single time he comes to the plate. So like, is he like an actually a great hitter? Like, or is he like Dave Kingman? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like what are his stats? Like, did he hit 300? Did he hit 50 home runs? Like, what happened here? But I just found that like in terms of the stats of the movie, it's like it would be interesting to know like where his stats netted out for the season.
When I mentioned the movie earlier, I forgot to mention he inexplicably gets shot. Like they don't really explain why or who shoots him or whatever, and then he plays, I think, the next day, or I don't know how many days after, he's playing in a game, and as he's at bat, he's bleeding.
Well, no, he got shot when he was much younger. They do like a kind of flashback about it, but then what they tell you is like the bullets have been in him all this time, the pieces, right? So he's in the hospital right before the last game. They lose all the games leading up to the final. They almost blow it. They have to play a playoff game, and then of course he's bleeding as he's up at bat, the last at bat, and oh my God.
So I didn't really quite understand that part, but I still like the movie.
Yeah, sure. Right. So what's your number one?
My number one is Ghostbusters.
Oh, very good. So we had
You had four the same.
four the same.
Yes.
Jesus. Okay.
So I don't know if you mentioned the entire. So this was directed by Ivan Reitman. I don't know if you mentioned the entire cast: Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Sigourney Weaver, Harold Ramis, Rick Moranis, Annie Potts.
Annie Potts is really good. She's the secretary.
Yeah. And there's another. We remember when we did that episode about quotes. My third favorite quote is from this movie. It's when Bill Murray says, "We came, we saw, we kicked its ass." And I use that quote sometimes, actually, like when I'm playing sports with other people.
So I guess, go ahead. Finish. Do you have anything more to say about the movie? Or
No, just that it's a really fun movie. I love the song, obviously, and it came out in the summer. So all you heard that summer was that song.
The song was huge.
We didn't have Spotify or Apple Music, so you couldn't just go play the song whenever you wanted to. You had to wait till it came on the radio. And so I remember sitting by my radio with my tape recorder ready to record when the song came on so I could record it.
Ray Parker Jr.
Exactly.
Yeah, the song was really popular. Really popular. So I guess like for you, we could say that maybe even if 1984 wasn't your favorite year for movies, I would say it's your favorite, like, so many of these movies are, like, so quotable for you. They're very memorable, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
And I don't know what my favorite year for movies is.
Me neither.
This is certainly up there. We'd have to do every single year and then compare them, but we don't have time for that.
For me, I'm sure there's some great years in the 90s. With like whatever year, like Usual Suspects, Pulp Fiction. I don't know what years they came out. I'm just throwing movies out there, right? Like to me, it seems like one of those might be our favorite year. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe we'll have to. I'm gonna do a little research and maybe we'll do a favorite year we'll pick a year in the 90s. But that could be a topic for another day. I have some honorable mentions.
Okay.
Star Trek 3: The Search for Spock. This is Spinal Tap. Should have been on my list, but didn't make it. Splash, Footloose, Red Dawn, like the ultimate good bad movie. Like, it's a bad movie. Starman and Dune also came out in 1984. And then there's some very interesting movies that were part of big franchises or big directors or that seemed popular, but I really didn't like them, which is like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. I should like that, but that's like the worst Indiana Jones movie, so there's no way it could make this list. 16 Candles, which you picked, but like I said, I think it's like the worst of the John Hughes movies. Purple Rain obviously was really popular for the music, but not a very good movie. And then there was actually the movie 1984. I don't know if you ever read the book or saw
I didn't
the
read the
movie,
book, but I know about the movie. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I read the book several times actually, and I've seen the movie, and it holds up. The movie, it's pretty solid, but like the book is just much, like, obviously it's for me one of the greatest books ever. But yeah, so that's 1984.
Okay. We'll be right back after this with some final thoughts.
You're listening to Unscripted.
Hey everyone, Skip here. I'm really excited to invite all of you to follow my new account at Skip Cooks on Instagram and TikTok. I'll be sharing my love of cooking with recipes in the form of 1-minute music videos, all set to some of my favorite songs. Don't miss out, follow me, and let's have some fun in the kitchen.
Unscripted with Skip and Josh is available wherever you listen to podcasts. If you listen to the show through Apple Podcasts, please leave a review. To interact with the show, send an email to skipandjoshshow@gmail.com. Follow the show on Twitter and go to Facebook to like the show page. And now, some final thoughts from the guys.
I told you that Matthew, my son, went to the Ottawa Senators Pittsburgh Penguins game earlier this week.
You did?
He did a little road trip with his friends to Ottawa, basically to go get Chick-fil-A, and then they decided to go to the hockey game. So he came home and he told me, I have something for your podcast, because he goes, I know Josh does like things that bug him, so this is something that really bugged me at the Ottawa Senators game.
Can't wait to hear this.
Okay, so the Ottawa Senators have 3 players who have retired their number.
Okay, is one of them Jason Spezza?
No. Okay. Good guess.
Daniel Alfredson.
Exactly. He goes, try to guess who the 3 players are. So right away I'm like Daniel Alfredson. That's the obvious one, right? And then he goes, you will never ever guess the other 2. He told me you'll never guess the other 2. Like, he goes, try. Like, so you already said Spezza, right?
I'm going to guess that one of them is a goalie.
No, not. I also
Okay.
said Patrick Lalime or John. I also said Patrick Lalime when I was guessing, and it's not right. And I'm going to tell you who the players
It's
are.
not Wade Redden.
I guessed Wade Redden, and it's not Wade Redden. So, and one of them is a defenseman.
Not Zdeno Chara.
Not Zdeno Chara. No, it's really weird that they've picked these 2 players to have their jersey numbers retired.
Is one of them like the first ever guy who was on the Ottawa Senators, like Gary
No.
Galley or something like that?
Good guess, but no. But no. Actually, I think this guy was like the first overall pick in the draft.
Alexander Daigle?
No, I know it's very hard to pick. It's Chris Phillips.
Okay, I've heard of him. I don't know that he needs his number retired, but
He was a good player, played for the Sens, but they retired his number. And then the other one, it's actually makes more sense, but it still blew my mind, is Chris Neal, the fighter.
I mean that's to me completely wrong. He should not have his number retired.
I mean, that's just because he's a fan favorite and they decided to have a night with a ceremony.
That would
for
be
him.
like the Canadians retiring Chris Nyland's number.
That's exactly what I said. It's exactly what I said. And the
That's never gonna
Canadians obviously have a much higher standard of retiring jerseys than any team in the league. But like it is if the Canadians retired Chris Nyland because he's such a fan favorite. Like that's what it would be. Like it makes no sense. So that's Matthew's what bugs him about the Ottawa Senators
I love it.
franchise, I guess. Yeah.
So I learned a few factoids yesterday while watching the hockey game.
Let's hear it.
Since we're talking about hockey, one of them surprised me. The other one probably didn't surprise me. And if you watched the game last night, you probably saw this. But in the last 30 years, and I'm mentioning this because the Montreal Canadiens are using 2 rookie goaltenders this year, and they could go into the playoffs using 2 rookie goaltenders because their veteran goaltender can't stop a beach ball at the moment. So in the last 30 years, there have been 3 teams that have started the playoffs with 2 rookie goaltenders.
Wow.
I'm surprised it's that many, actually.
Yeah.
Because usually you have one young goalie and one older goalie, right? And one of those years was, you'll remember, 2008 with Carey Price and Yaroslav Halak.
That's right.
I don't know if you want to guess the other 2. I don't think you'll guess them, but...
I'll never guess.
So one was in 2014. The Ducks had Frederik Andersen and John Gibson. Okay. And the other one was 2001 when the Sharks had Evgeny Nabokov and Mika Kiprasov.
Okay. Fair enough.
So actually, this got me to be a little bit concerned because, as you know, the Canadiens traded one of their goalies because they had to. And so now I'm worried that they're going to trade one of these one day.
That's good.
I'd like to keep both Dobish and Fowler. I don't want either of them to be traded.
I agree. I hope they can find the balance between the two. Look, I don't know. Dobish kind of came out of nowhere. Before last year, most Canadiens fans never even heard of Dobish. Like no one even knew who this guy was. So congratulations to him. And I don't know, you ever see his interviews after the game and stuff? He's a very interesting person.
I like him. I like those interviews.
Yeah, he's very interesting.
So I have another factoid for you.
Mm-hmm.
The Montreal Canadiens, you just mentioned, they have a very storied history. I didn't realize this. I was very surprised to learn this. Do you know, without looking this up, how many 50-goal scorers there have been in the more than 100-year history of the Montreal Canadiens?
Stéphane Richer.
Okay, that's 1.
Guy Lafleur.
That's 2.
Steve Shutt.
3.
Pierre LaRouche.
That's 4.
Rocket Richard.
That's 5.
I think that's it.
There's actually one more. But
okay, let me guess. Boom Boom Geoffrion.
I'm shocked that you got them all, first of all.
Yes.
But I'm more shocked that there's only 6 players that's ever done this.
Yeah.
In over 100 years. I mean, some of them have done it more than once. But still, only 6.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to do some research. I'm going to look up other teams that have been around for a long time and see, do they have, All right, I only had one more thing, and I know we're going a little bit long. I just wanted to acknowledge the passing of Roger Brulotte this week. And most people, if you're outside of Montreal, you don't know who we're talking about. But he was a long-time color commentator on the French broadcasts on radio and TV for the Montreal Expos. And he was an incredible, passionate Montreal Expos baseball fan, ambassador, whatever you want to call him. He was just so passionate about baseball in this city. And he gave us a lot of great moments broadcasting, the Wilfredo Cordero scream, what I'm talking about. I played it for Matthew to show him who they were talking about with Roger Brulotte. And I was like, I was at that game, so I didn't hear the call. I only till after, so.
And I think I was at the Damaso game.
Oh, the Damaso Garcia. That's a classic as well, right? So anyways, fond farewell to Roger Brulotte. He gave us a lot of great moments, with the Expos.
Indeed, it was very sad when I heard the news, and there's no better ambassador for baseball in Montreal than him, and he will certainly be missed. I can only imagine how he felt when the Expos left Montreal.
Balle est tirée. Oh, il est tiré pour but! White s'en vient au nombre! Victoire des Expos!